Hey guys, Doyle here with Doyle's Basement Records. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm doing back-to-back videos. And we just finished shooting my top 20 vocals, 10 through 5, and I'm doing 5 through 1. Before we get started, though, why don't you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, please. Leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know if I suck, if I'm doing alright. And remember, if you love perfection, editing, and all that good stuff, this channel is just probably not for you because I don't got that, guys. I do make mistakes, and I'm just kind of rambling. And I got the video I did earlier. I kind of forgot to mention my thing I always say, which was the last like 30 seconds of what I just did. Couldn't believe I forgot my own little calling card. But yes, that is me. And that's kind of how the channel is. Nothing perfection, but like I said, this is my top 20 favorite vocals of all time. And remember, I'm not considering talent-wise. These are just the voices that I loved and fell in love with. Other than that, guys, I think it's time to get started. With number 5, this is a band I fell in love with the summer going into 7th grade. I found this record, and my uncle was getting rid of a bunch of his records at my grandparents' garage, so they did every summer. And I picked albums with cool covers and cool names, plain and simple. There was a few bands I knew. This band I had no idea who it was, and then I didn't even have a record player either at the time. But I went to Napster, and then I typed in the band's name, and I picked out the coolest songs with the coolest tracks, and then that's where I went. I might do a whole episode just on that. But other than that, let's get started on that. And I kind of fudged up there, but oh well. Number 5, Grateful Dead's Jerry Garcia. I've always loved his voice, and I thought his voice kind of got better with age. Too, I like the stuff that he did in the 80s and 90s, like especially his voice. I thought his voice got, like I said, got better with age. I know a lot of people like his, with Deadheads, man. People love their different decades, whether it was, him in the late 60s or the early 70s, or the people who liked him in the 80s. I love them all. Like, remember that whole first bin right there? That's all Grateful Dead related stuff. I got like 4, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I got 4 Grateful Dead box sets. I'm a Deadhead guy. But yeah, I love the stuff that he did in the 90s. Some people, like I said, some people get real picky with the Grateful Dead. I do not. Love that album. That's one of my favorite album covers of all time. That American Beauty album. Just gorgeous. On the next, number 4. I'm not the biggest punk fan. There are some bands I really do like in punk. This happens to be one of them, and I love it. I've always loved his voice. Thought he was a really cool guy, too. Funny guy that told great stories. I've been kind of watching some of these clips of him and Howard Stern. And that guy is Joey Ramone. Love his voice. But man, I've been seeing a lot of the clips. I guess him and Howard are pretty decent friends. They would call each other brothers, because and Howard and Joey kind of had the long hair, and they would kind of like, who had that hair first? And I was like, fuck you, I did, You stole my look. But I've always loved Joey Ramone's voice. I think it's very unique. And just a cool voice, I don't remember exactly when I got into this band. I'm sure I heard it like the "Hey Ho, Let's Go" chorus at a young age, but I'm not sure when. Like, I'm guessing middle school, but I can't tell you like a time and place where I put an album on and listened to. Unfortunately, I wish I did. I do remember when I watched their movie for the first time. I can tell you what grade, what friends I was with, probably around how late it was, how we pre-gamed for it. I love that movie too. I am a fan. I watched it maybe a year ago. It still holds up, at least in my eyes. So I'm a Ramones fan, but more importantly, I'm a Joey Ramone fan. On to number 3. The myth, the man, the legend, Tom Waits. I am a diehard Tom Waits fan. Pretty much own his whole catalog, except for a few studio albums. And then as far as I know, I own all the imports, at least that I'm able to find or get at the moment. I got introduced to Tom Waits probably. Well, actually, it's funny. I'm a pretty decent Primus fan too, and that was probably one of the best shows I've ever been to. And they Gogol Bordello opened up for Primus, and then it was like 90 minutes in the Primus set or so, and then they had Gogol Bordello come out, and they did this one song, and I had no idea who it was. It was the best part of the fucking show. And then later on, like a few months later, I get introduced to Tom Waits. They did a Tom Waits cover called Big in Japan. And that was my favorite part of that Primus show. And ever since then, I've been a Tom Waits fan. I will own anything he gets out. I don't love everything he does, but there's quite a bit I do. He's very unique. Like if you listen to his first album in 1973, Closing Time, and then you listen to like Mule Variation, Small Change, Rain Dogs, or pretty much any other record he does, his voice is real raspy, you know how. Oh, and a cool fun fact, I have a Tom Waits poster over it. It's the Small Change album cover, which I should have shown that, because it has Elvira and she's naked on there and he's smoking a cigarette, being a G like he is. But yeah, if you're interested in Tom Waits, man, Closing Time, Mule Variation, Rain Dog, Small Change, those are in the top 5 for sure. Great albums. And my man, Tom Waits. And he's a pretty good actor too. He's been in quite a few movies, never a main role, but man, I think he could act for sure. The next one, Robert Plant. I didn't want to show Led Zeppelin. I wanted to give this album a shout out. Robert Plant and Alison Krauss, and was it Raising Sand? Oh, in my top 50 favorite albums of all time. This is a great album. Not a bad track on here. As I say, you can put this on your record player and play to that, and then you gotta flip it. Man, love his voice. It's been one of my favorites since middle school. This is one of the bands where I remember certain of their albums where I remember listening to the first time. Led Zeppelin, I'm a huge fan. Speak of the devil. Pretty much since day one, since I ever heard any of their songs, I am in. Love their music. But I'm giving this a shout out. Check this album out if you have not listened to it. You won't regret it. That was my first time ever getting introduced to Alison Krauss. I've never really listened to her at all till this. And alright, my number 1 favorite voice of all time, Alice in Chains and Mad Seasons, Lane Staley. If I could pick anybody's voice to have in any music, it is his. This young man's voice just was incredible what he could do with it. There's certain songs like, especially on that MTV Unplugged, like in Down in the Hole and the Nutshell. Whew. And then you listen to some of the stuff in Mad Season, like River Descent. Watch or listen to it live. Like they have the videos up there on YouTube, man. Oh, I've done quite a bit of talk on grunge or Alice in Chains. Love this band. Man, yeah. If I could create a band, like I said, he'd be number 1. He'd be my vocalist, and then and so on with the guitars and drums. This is the guy who's my favorite voice. Doesn't mean this is not my favorite band of all time. I'm not. Yeah, I wouldn't know how I'd rank this in my favorite bands. But that voice. I love the voice. It's my favorite voice, like I said. Can't say enough about that kid. I wish he got away from the heroin and we could have seen more of him because he didn't really do too much, if you ask me, album wise. He was robbed short. Yes. This is my number one pick for my top 20. I'm about to say top 20 albums. My top 20 favorite voices of all time. Layne Staley. I think that might be it, guys. So why don't you hit that? Please don't forget, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know if I suck. And remember, I apologize for the mess ups because it will happen doing a little bit of a long video with no editing. It's, like I said, I'm remembering stuff and I'm forgetting stuff all at the same time. I'm very special at that. You know, it's a gifted talent, and that I have. I can forget some. Like, I'll have to write down cheat sheets. Even when I do the cheat sheets, I'll forget it. Like the video put out before this, there's a few things I wish I said that I forgot. But I thought the video was decent, so I was like, I don't want to redo it. So maybe one day I'll get it editing, but I just don't know. So I do apologize on the imperfection. And check out Stick Figure. Great reggae band. You won't go wrong. Their best album is Burial Grounds. Check that album out. Not a bad track on that whole fucking album. Great. That's the band. Me and 3 other guys in a two-door Honda Accord. Remember, I'm in Kansas City. We drove downtown Tulsa, totally different state, in a horrible snowstorm to get out of the Kansas City, like the actual city, probably take 25-30 minutes. It took an extra 90 minutes, probably give or take 5 or 10 minutes to get out of that snowstorm. And then even out of that, we couldn't really go. You didn't feel comfortable going full speed. Saw the show. Got to meet the Stick Figure band. Got to meet Scott Woodruff and K-Bong, the piano player. Check out his solo work. It's pretty good. I actually got a picture with Scott Woodruff, the lead singer from Stick Figure, and he plays lead guitar. Writes all the lyrics, and then if you follow him on Instagram or whatnot or anything, he does it all. So he even comes with the piano part, drums, and the bass. He's the one-man show. And then we started to drive home at like 2 or 3 in the. I think it was around 2 o'clock when everything ended and we decided to leave. I remember the Expendables opened up for them as. Well, wait, no. Expendables was headlining and there was 2 or 3 other bands, and we didn't think they were going to come because it was a snowstorm in Tulsa too. So we were getting worried. So I know it started hella late because it shouldn't have ended around the time it did. But we tried to drive home and we got almost taken off the highway by a semi. Actually, we did, and we had to get a tow truck to pull us back. And they're like, "There's no way we're making it to Kansas City." We got a hotel. But those guys actually did us a shout out on all their social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. They said special shout out to the guys who drove through the snowstorm from Kansas City. Highlight of my moment, or highlight of my year. But all right, guys, that is it. Hope you liked it. Remember, hit the like button, subscribe. Have a good one, guys.